What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and I'm here today with the review for Black Ink Crew Chicago. This is season 6. This is episodes 1 and 2. It was a 2-hour premiere. I didn't watch it until just recently. I just had a lot of shit going on last night. I went to the gym last night. I watched the Oval, and by the time I did all that stuff, I was hella tired, so I just didn't have the time to devote to the show. So here we are now. I'm back from my hiatus from Black Ink Crew because I didn't review the second half of season 5 last season because I watched that first episode and I was just upset with the way that Van treated Bella, then seeing Rachel on the screen and also seeing Lily. Which, speaking of which, we have a new theme song. It is 4 song. Okay, I guess it's cool. I'm kind of over that song, but give them some shine. I guess they started doing this after, because if you guys remember, Black Ink Crew Compton's theme song was actually sung by KP. It was rapped by KP, not sung by. It's KP's song. So I guess they said, you know what? KP's an artist. We gave KP some shine, so let's give 4 some shine. So they did that. Speaking of which, we also have some cast members that are gone by the wayside, thank God. Lily is gone, thank good God that Lily's gone. Bella's gone. Van is gone. Adriana is gone, and so is Junior. And I'm also wondering if Cobra is gone as well. What the fuck? It is 11:30 at night and these kids are still awake. Like, damn, y'all don't have to go to school tomorrow or some shit like that. I need one cuss in the beginning of this video. And also, before we get into the, let's go ahead and jump into the video. All right, so we once again have 2 different shops. This season it makes a little bit more sense. Charmaine has her shop, Second City Inc., and then we still have 9 Mag. So we see Ryan, he's with his son Mason. And, Ryan is just talking about the struggles that he's going through right now. So, Ryan and Rachel are not together. They're not living together. So Ryan only has the kids once they get out of school until they go to sleep. And, he's still he's still at the shop. So he's just juggling being a father and being a business owner at the same time. We also found out that things are good right now between Don and Ashley. They are in a very good spot. I'm like, that is good. I'm happy for Don and Ashley. I'm happy that Don has finally stopped cheating on Ashley long enough, to make their marriage work, to, for them and their kids. We also find out that Ryan, he's traveling a lot at this point. He's on plane to plane, going different places. I'm like, that really is good for Ryan. And I actually do see his Instagram, and he do be a lot of places. So that is really good for Ryan. And, if I ever go to Chicago, I do want to stop into the shop and get a tattoo from him. I won't fuck with New York, but with Chicago, I will fuck with them because I actually do like this cast a lot more than I do the New York cast. That's actually kind of why I don't review New York. Actually, the real reason why I don't review New York is because of, I like Donna and Sky, but I can't deal with the antics of Donna and Sky. Like, Charmaine is enough, but the antics of Donna and the antics of Sky, I just couldn't sit through it. I couldn't review it. So we also found out that 4 went to jail because he was in his car. He was getting some head, getting some head. He was getting some head, getting some head. So then we also see that, so they are talking about Charmaine's shop, Second City Inc. And, Ryan is in his feelings about Charmaine having this shop. And I'm like, why? So Ryan explained to us why he's in his feelings. Well, I ain't gonna say he's in his feelings, but he feels some type of way about Charmaine having a shop. And the reason why he feels so strongly about Charmaine having this shop is because, Charmaine doesn't know anything about the tattooing industry. So how can someone who doesn't know anything about the tattooing industry, have a tattoo shop? And the thing is, Charmaine has her managing partner, who we'll talk about in just a little bit. Her managing partner, she is there to help her, who is a tattoo artist. So she has that help. And then he starts questioning, he's like, yeah, I know her. She's been in the shop before. We offered her a spot in the shop. Maybe a guest spot shop or just whatever. And my thing is, there are a lot of people in different industries that don't know a lot about the industry before they go into it. But they learn, they get their footing as they go. Prime example, Rihanna with her Fenty Beauty, her Savage Fenty, her lingerie line. I'm pretty sure Rihanna had no fashion knowledge, no makeup knowledge, no. I mean, because with makeup, that is, you're mixing, you're putting chemicals together. Like, I'm pretty sure Rihanna knew nothing about that stuff. But because she had a great team and she had great investors, that was able to help her progress her stuff, progress her brand. And also, like, let's see. So, like, I watch General Hospital every day. On General Hospital, like, doctors, they have board members who know nothing about the medical world, but they still serve on the board. So there are a lot of people who do things that they don't necessarily 100% know a lot about, but because they have people in their corner that can educate them on that stuff, that helps them progress themselves. So I wasn't really here for Ryan talking about, oh, she don't know nothing about it. That's fine. She don't know nothing about it. She can learn about it. So I'm not gonna sit here and just knock Charmaine. So, and that's just where and that's where I'm gonna leave it at. I'm not gonna knock Charmaine. If Charmaine can make it a profitable business, all power to Charmaine. But let's move on. So while I'm discussing Charmaine, we see Charmaine at her shop. So Charmaine is taking a different approach with her staff as opposed to what Nine Mag does. She wants to uplift her staff, and I'm all here for uplifting her staff. She brought them some treats and whatnot. I'm here for that. But the thing is, I want Charmaine to be able to, yes, uplift your team. Show them positive, show them the positive, but also be able to be authoritative. When you need to, come down on them if they did something wrong, you need to be able to do that. And I'm not saying that Charmaine won't be able to do it. Just from looking at that, I just want her to be able to say, hey, yes, I can, be positive, show positivity, but when it's needed, you also should be able to say, hey, I'm the fun boss. I'm a cool boss. But when it's time to get down to business and whatnot, we have to do business and we have to be professional. So I just hope she can, turn off that, that sweet boss and, not be so mean, but be able to command respect. I don't even know if that's a right choice of words, but be able to just, own it when she walks into the room. So we did find out that she and her shop are going to be featured in the Rolling Out magazine, which I see that all the time. And then she also tells them, like, right now we don't have a lot of followers. We have 106, I believe they had 106 or 105 followers on Instagram, and that's because nobody knows about them. So what she tells her staff to do is, whenever you got with your work, what I need you guys to do is post on your social media, tag the shop, at the shop, so people know who we are, what we do, and try to bring in the clientele. And I'm all here for that. So we then get introduced to the artists. We have two of them who are from the west side of Chicago. It's Fly Tatted, and then it's Prince. We're introduced to Drea, who's from the Bronx. We are introduced to Zach. I believe Zach is from Ohio. We are introduced to Plug. And Plug, he's from Saginaw, Michigan. I'm like, Saginaw, Michigan. I was born in Saginaw, Michigan. I don't know a damn thing about Saginaw, but I was born in Saginaw, Michigan. And then Jess, her managing partner, who is from London. Now what I wanted somebody to do was tell Jess where her camera was, because when Jess was talking to her producer, she was looking over here, she was looking over here. She never once looked at the camera, and I'm like, Jess, your camera, your focal point is right there in front of you. But she'll get used to it as time goes on. So then we also see Ryan. So like I said before, Ryan is struggling with his duties as the shop owner and, his duties as a father. So he has Mason in the shop with him, but, it's so busy because he was trying to help Mason with his homework, but things got so busy that he couldn't help him with his homework. So Ryan was like, you know what? I'm just going to take him over here with Rachel. And we find out that Rachel has taken her business from being solely online to she's in the same building with Ryan. So Ryan goes over to where Rachel is, and I tweeted this that Rachel, but all I did was I saw Rachel in passing, but Rachel actually didn't annoy me when I actually sat down and watched the episode. So what Rachel said, because Ryan was like, can he stay here with you? Because like I didn't feel like you might have been as busy as I am, and I thought that was a little bit rude. Because Rachel was like, Ryan, you got two fucking phones, so why didn't you call me to see if that was okay? She says it's fine, but communication, like that's all we need is communication. And Ryan was talking about, she's going back and forth with him, and I'm like, Ryan, in this instance, I'm in agreement with Rachel. I mean, you didn't know what she was doing. Yes, she's doing. People doing nails and stuff, but you didn't really know what the capacity in her shop was. So it is better to just say, hey, let me text Rachel real quick. Let me call her. What up, Rachel? The shop is busy right now. Is it okay if I bring Mason up there? If not, I'll just find a quiet place here for him to go, do his homework. And she could have said yes, no, whatever. But for him to just walk around there and tell her, just ask her. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying it, but I was actually on Rachel's side. But let's move on, you guys. All right, so now let's move over to Don and Ashley. So we see Don and Ashley. So they go out to dinner. So we find out that Don and Ashley still have the plans to renew their vows in Africa, and they moved into a bigger place, which that's a good thing because they have been talking about that for the last 2 seasons or so. And so then Ashley's telling Don how she found this lump that's under her breast, and um she had it years ago when she had their first son in 2013, but they thought they had got rid of it, but she didn't. So she's telling Don that she's gonna have to go in for surgery, and when she says surgery, I'm like, do they know what it is? I'm like, is it surgery or are they doing a biopsy? Which we'll get to that in a little bit. So then we see Charmaine. So Charmaine is doing her interview with the girl from Rolling Out, and she's asking Charmaine like, what inspired you to want to open your shop? And Charmaine let us know that hey, Rolling Out has they are big supporters of Nine Mag. So she basically just tells her, hey, when it came down to the whole thing with Nine Mag, she was just hurt by the boys, and so the girl tells her, hey, we having a party, and I'm inviting you to the party. And so then we do see Don and Ashley. So they went to the doctor. And granted, both of them are nervous, they're anxious, and they're scared, which in that situation, I understand. And I do love this. I do love the fact that Ashley was, brave enough to do this on camera because it lets women know no matter what age you are, definitely get checked out because you can get cancer at any age. I know they say, you should get your mammogram starting at, I don't want to say the age because I don't know it because I'm not a woman, even though men can get breast cancer as well, which cancer runs in my family. So I actually talked to my doctor last year when I was with my old job. I asked my doctor, the doctor that I had then, I have a new doctor now, which I haven't even saw my doctor yet. He's scheduled an appointment with my doctor, my new doctor. But I asked her, like I was telling her that um, the cancer runs in my family. And she was like, at that time I was 29. I hadn't turned 30 yet. She was like, you're just 29. And I'm like, but I would like to get, checked out to make sure that I don't have anything. She says, you're very young, so I really wouldn't worry about it. And I'm just like, but I am worried about it. Like, I want to be proactive instead of reactive. I don't want cancer. And if I know that it runs in my family, I don't want that. Like I saw my grandmother go through it. I saw two of my uncles go through it. I don't want to go through that. That was the worst time of my life. That was the worst experience of my life. Like I don't want to have to live it. I really don't. And I have a cousin who had breast cancer. I do not want to live with that. It's just something that I just don't want to. I would prefer to know early detection. Yes, I'm 30. I don't care. I will love. So yeah, I'm gonna have a conversation with my new doctor when I do finally meet him or her. So yeah. Um. So yeah, they in fact actually did a biopsy. So then we see the guys. So they show up um to the rolling out party, and when you walk in, there are pictures of Charmaine and her crew, and they kind of it seems like they feel some type of way about it, but I'm like, why? I mean, y'all should. Granted, Charmaine can be a little bit annoying, but the fact that she's doing something this big and major show support to the girl. Be like, you know what? My thing with Ryan is you can be like, yeah, I don't agree with I don't I'm not in agreement with this, but if you need my help for anything, you got it. But he didn't say that. Um, and then Charmaine told Jess, you know what, Jess, I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna talk to them. And she does. So Charmaine goes over to talk to them, and she was like, we didn't speak to each other. Y'all didn't speak when y'all came in, and I didn't speak to y'all. So I'm just gonna do it now. And I'm with this whole situation, I'm actually gonna be on Charmaine's side. She wanted to talk to him about how she really felt, and Ryan was like, I don't think this is the time or the place. She said, of course it is. And all she just tells him was that she just feels like none of them had her back. And I'm in a 100% agreement with Charmaine. Now, what I will say is I didn't unnecessarily understand her position at the shop for the last, what, 2 seasons as a celebrity concierge. That was something she made up. We all know that. But, let me see what I want to say. The celebrity concierge was something she made up. Ryan, his social media, booming. He had Nicki Minaj as a client, booming. So they really didn't need the celebrity concierge. But the way that they treated Charmaine, I didn't agree with it, especially last season. Like I said, I did watch it, just didn't review it, but I didn't agree with the shit that they did to her last season. And then let's also piggyback on season 4. They were all against her, for all the stuff that happened between she and Lily when Lily was mostly the fault for everything. So, I can 100% be on Charmaine's side and say, yes, y'all did not have her back with a lot of shit. Y'all let a lot of shit go by the wayside and didn't have her back. So, and she tells them that they're not her brothers, and she just felt that they don't take her seriously, which that is true. They don't take her seriously at all. They look at Charmaine as a joke. So then we see Ryan. He calls Rachel to check on the boys, but Rachel tells him that what, they sleep, but when they wake up tomorrow to get ready for school, I have them call you. And so we also find out that Ryan has been sleeping in the shop because he's on the road so much, and he doesn't feel like it would be beneficial for him to get a place. Which I mean I understand that if you're on the road, what's the purpose in paying rent on a house or more? Just what's the purpose in paying all that stuff when you're very rarely there? So I definitely agree with him on that one. So you guys, that was the end of episode 1. So now we're about to jump over into episode 2. All right, so episode 2. So the episode opens up. We see Charmaine. She is at WCGI with Jess and Plug, and they just talking about her shop. So then we over at 9 Mag. We see Ryan, Don, and 4. They're talking about this party, and they once again still talking crap about Charmaine. And Ryan commends Charmaine and just for what they're doing, but he's still knocking them at the same time. Talking about, do they really know what it's like to run a tattoo business? If they don't, Ryan, why don't you give them some pointers? Why don't you give them some assistance instead of just harking on them and knocking on them? So then Don tells them, despite all the stuff that Ash is going through right now, she's actually, doing really, really good. So then Ryan also tells him that right now he's not on good terms with his mom or his sister. He missed a family function that his dad had. And, he just tells them that basically right now, because it's 10 years since his sister was murdered, and he's just throwing himself into work as a distraction, as a crutch. And I'm like, Ryan, I feel like you need to sit down and have a conversation with somebody about that, because that's not a good look. And that's coming from me. I mean, I can say that myself because I noticed that sign last year. March 19th will be 3 years since my mom passed away, and January 1st will be 7 years that my grandmother passed away. So and after my mom passed away in 2017, I just went on a downward spiral. I get depressed around her birthday, the time that she, the anniversary of her death, which is also coincides with my grandmother's birthday. So I do get depressed around that time, the end of the year. So I do, I do get depressed, and I really get depressed about her birthday because I actually had a horrible depression. Because I had just quit my job, my last job that I was working at, and I was at home around her. I was at home on her birthday. I hadn't quit my job then, but the week after, the depression it just snuck in, and it just weighed me down so badly. Like, there were times in my day where I couldn't even get up out of the bed, but I did to do these reviews of my shows. But there were just times that I just could not get up and do anything. So I just feel like Ryan, and I can say to myself, I need to talk to somebody myself. But I'm not at the spot. I'm not in the spot that I was before. the suicidal side of me. I'm not at that side. I'm not there. I'm not there anymore. Thank God. I'm not at the point where I had alienated myself from my entire family. So, but I still, like I said, I just still deal with the depression. So I just need, like I said, I need to sit down and talk to someone. So it was, I will say one thing about Blanking Crew that Chicago that has been a wake up call for me, especially with the Ford situation. That was a wake up call to me because that was actually at the height of one of my suicidal points in my life. That was the height of it. But just to see that episode, I looked at myself. I said, you know what, you need to seek help, and at that point I did. But and I was able to shake myself out of it, and I did seek help. But at that time I just was not financially stable. I didn't have a car, so I couldn't make doctor's appointments the way that I wanted to. But things are different now, and I'm getting myself together. So I know I need to sit down and make appointments. So then we also see Charmaine and Neek. We find out that Charmaine and Neek went to the courthouse and got married. Congratulations are in order for those two. Charmaine's mom, however, and Neek's mom are not happy about them going to the courthouse. And also their moms are both coming into town. And I'm gonna talk a little bit more about Charmaine in just a little bit when we get deeper into the episode. All right, so over at Nine Mag, we see that they having a little function over there. So Ryan's mom and sister show up, and they want to talk to Ryan, and they were like, can we talk to you alone? So they pull Ryan to the side, and they just want to check on him because they haven't really heard from him. And Ryan is just telling them how basically when it comes to what it is with him, he said he couldn't be weak around them, and what Ryan was really saying was he can't be vulnerable around them. He can't show a sensitive side to them. He can't show that he needs help. And again, like I said, Ryan needs to sit down and talk to someone with everything that he's dealing with. Now, he did talk about not having a home. That part, you did that. I'm not going to, your sister being murdered, yes, you need to sit down and talk to somebody about that. But this whole situation about you not being able to have a home with your boys, that is something that you kind of fucked up when you messed with Kat. That, and I'm not going to, I've talked about this before, this whole Ryan and Kat situation, season 4. I'm not rehashing it again. But the whole thing is, you made a mistake. And and at the end of the day, if things were not supposed to be between you and Rachel, that's fine. You and Rachel have found out a way to be great co-parents. So you might be great co-parents. That didn't mean that you guys were actually good for each other in a relationship. So let's move over back to Charmaine's shop. So at Charmaine's shop, we see that Zach and Drea, so they're flirting with one another. So she asked him like, so what you got going on today? He says, oh, I have 2 clients coming in to get a couple's tattoo. She's like, oh, is that so? She's like, so how about I help you with this couple's tattoo? He says, okay, you help me with the couple's tattoo if I get a date. And she was like, cool. So then the couples come in, and Zach throws out the idea that, hey, is it cool if Drea tattoos one of you and I tattoo the other? And they're like, we trust you, so cool. So they do tattoo both of them, and the tattoos were badass. I think it was 2 huskies that they got tattooed on them. Now, whose tattoo did I like the most? Zach's tattoo, hands down, was the best. And what I will say that I like about Charmaine's shop, as opposed to, and I'm not going to even say Ryan's shop, I'm going to say Caesar's shop. Because Caesar should check his work of his artist, more specifically, Donna. Donna can't spell. Like, what the fuck do Donna be? Donna can't spell. Donna has shitty fucking tattoos. But just checks her artist tattoos. And that's what C should do when it comes to Donna. Double check Donna's work to make sure Donna has done her work correctly. So then we see Donna and Asher. So they went back to the doctor for the test results. And, she's nervous and she's anxious. And the doctor comes in. He gives her good news. He says it's not cancer. He says all it is, a skin cyst. And I'm so glad, again, like I said, I'm glad that, Ashley did this, because it does actually stress the importance, especially to African American women, to go out and get your mammograms. Get them, get them, get them. And even to our, even to the men, we should get we should get one too, because we can get cancer. Men can get breast cancer as well. Um, Prime example, Matthew Knowles. So yeah, especially, so I'm gonna say this more specifically for my people, African American, my people. Let us do our due diligence to ourselves. Get tested, get checked out, make sure everything is good with you guys, because we, African Americans, we don't like going to the doctors. We don't, we try to avoid as much stuff as we can. So instead of, pushing things to the wayside, ignoring stuff, when you see signs of it, go get checked out. So let's move on, you guys. All right, so then we do see Drea and Zach. So they went on a little cute date to get some ice cream. They get to know each other. It was a cute scene. They kissed each other. Zach asked Drea, has she ever dated anybody she worked with? She says no. But, things happen. So then we see the boys. So they are out rock climbing. And, basically it is a way for Don and Ford to catch up with Ryan to see what's going on with Ryan. Because they haven't really talked to Ryan since his mom and sister came up to the shop. So once again, Ryan tells them, he just does not want to deal with anything that's going on right now. So he just throws himself into work, and I'm like, wow. And that's a funny thing. It's a funny thing. Like, cause I remember I have a friend that I went to school with. We've been friends for years, and when my mom passed away, I asked a question on Facebook: how do you deal with the death of a? How do you? I said to all my friends who have lost their mothers, how do you guys deal with it? And one of my friends said, stay busy. You know, if you stay busy, over time, you'll kind of think about it less and less. And to an extent, that is true. But at the same time, if you are just throwing yourself into work, because that's what I started to do. I started to throw myself, especially with this YouTube channel. I started to throw myself into this YouTube channel. I started to throw myself back into things that make me happy. Like I want to get back into doing music and everything. But then at the same time, I have to think to myself, all I'm doing by throwing myself into different things that things that I enjoy, what I'm doing is I'm just masking the pain. I'm just putting a band-aid over it. I'm not actually sitting and letting it, breathe, letting it heal. So I just, and I thought to myself, I'm like, you know what? And that was when I had a conversation with a family member, and she told me, maybe you just need to sit down and talk to somebody about it. And I'm like, and it does it made sense. And wow, I mean, just saying stuff out loud, it's really making me. It's just wow. I'm actually happy for this episode. I am really actually happy for this. Like I said, the show, when it comes to mental health, they do a good job at with portraying it on the show. They do a excellent job. I will say that much about Chicago. They do an excellent job. But they basically they asked him what happened with his mom, and he said his mom basically just she let him have it, which I mean I get it. Ryan, and we're gonna talk about that in a little bit. We're gonna talk about Ryan in just a little bit more. So they tell him that he needs to see somebody, and Ryan doesn't feel like it's that serious. And I'm like, yeah, because I was looking at Ryan, I'm like, it's definitely that serious when you. And like I say, it's so, like I say, it's funny. Hindsight is 2020. Me looking at Ryan, I'm just looking at myself 3 years ago. I'm really looking at myself 3 years ago and a year ago. Like it is mind blowing to me. So then we see Neek and Charmaine. So their moms are meeting. And again, like I said, their moms are just not happy that they went to the courthouse and got married. And I was so confused with Neek's mom, because Neek's mom says, Charmaine, I like you, but you guys are not really married because you guys didn't go the correct way. And I'm like, what's the correct way? She wanted them to get married in a church. I'm like, but that's technically not. I mean, I get it, but legally they are married. So then, they pull out an envelope to give to their moms. And you guys, I cried when I saw this scene, because they revealed that they are pregnant. This whole episode I could just not, in Charmaine's green screen, I couldn't get past how big her titties have gotten. Like, her pregnant titties are big. I'm like, wow. And the reason why I cried, I mean, everybody knows that Charmaine's mom passed away a few months ago. And when I saw that on social media, when I saw that on OMFG Reality, I think that's what it is. When I saw them post that Charmaine's mom passed away, I was my mouth, my heart sank because it's just like we've been watching the show for a long time now, and we feel like we know these people, and like I said, my heart just really sank, and my condolences definitely go out to Charmaine because I know exactly what she's feeling right now. So my condolences to Charmaine and her family. And then to wrap up the episode, we see that Ryan did go to talk to a therapist, and he did this more so because he remembered what Ford went through a few seasons ago, and I was happy that Ryan was able to open up about everything in his past. But the biggest thing is that Ryan blames himself for the death of his sister. He feels like maybe if he was there, he could have took the bullet himself, or he could have killed the man that killed his sister and his niece. And that has to be a heavy burden to live with because he said he went out and got drunk because that was the night she was supposed to take him to go get his tattoo equipment. The next day she was supposed to take him to get his tattoo equipment, but he went out, got drunk, had a hangover, didn't wake up until later. So I just really do feel bad for Ryan and the fact that he is blaming himself for his sister's death. You can't blame yourself for what someone else. Don't blame yourself for what some ignorant asshole did to your sister. But you guys, that was Black King Crew Chicago. I'm gonna stick with this. It's on a trial basis right now, and I'm gonna stick with it because I think I'm gonna enjoy it. But you guys, that was the video. That was the episode. So be sure to like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button so you guys know when I drop anything else, and I will see you guys later.